You know, I want to tell you, I think you might know, maybe tell the room. My mother's Scottish, from Glasgow, hailed from Glasgow. But she married an Englishman, a big, disciplined, assertive English guy. And she was shy about being Scottish.
Oh.
And I never saw, you know, it didn't really happen her. So Madge Bray, when I sit at your knees and see your feistiness, I would, for her sake and mine, I would love her to have had even 1/10 of your rich culture and your belief in it and your love for your own.
Oh, Ian, thank you.
Yeah. So thank you.
Oh, bless you. I'm so, you know, you were one of the people, Ian, who said to me, Madge, you've got to do this. And you said to me, if you don't do this, I'm going to be behind you. I'm going to be watching you. I'm taking note. That's what you said, and that's how you said it. And I thought, oh. And Sandra was also, Madge, if you don't do this, I'm going to die if you don't teach me songs of Scotland. That's what you said. So I was like, oh, God, right, okay. And then Sue, who is probably on Zoom, who's another Sue, and a musicologist who said, Madge, you've got to get this down. I'm going to sit with you. I'm going to make you, and we've got to do this. So she's been taping all of this. I mean, you know, so I've got reams of stuff to go on a YouTube channel, which will just, eventually when I've decanted it all, I can pop my clogs. But it'll take me an awful long time, so you can all be quite relieved about this. So I think we'll start. Shall we make a start? Hello to everybody on Zoom. Thank you so much for being part of this. So everything's going up on YouTube because Craig is working day and night to do this. And we've got the first session up on YouTube, a lot of songs, and then the second session is going up like tomorrow. And so that if you don't get to be here, you can always just watch it if you're interested. And please subscribe and tell people about it, because I might die tomorrow. I'm not going to, I'm hoping, but you know what I mean. No, I'm not going to do it, but what I mean is, you never know. And you have to do, and for me, this is decanting a whole lifetime and bags of my family's inheritance that my mother has meticulously left me. This is your Uncle John so-and-so. He went to, this is 1927. Now, these are the McCondichees. Now, they lived at, so I've got all of this, and I've got to decant it and put it out. So, but the first thing I'm going to do tonight we're unfolding a whole series of sessions, and this is the third one, and tonight we're on children, babies, lullabies, and Mother Earth, really. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we've just begun, so just welcome. Settle yourself down. No worries. So tonight we're going into the stuff of dreams. We're going into fairies. We're going into the loss of a child. And this is where the stories start, the songs start to work on the unconscious. So I think you'll be drawn to different things depending on what your experience is, but sometimes in my own life I've sung a song over and over and over and over again until it's through my system, because these are healing songs. This is a traditional transmission of not just sharing the suffering of being human, but the salve of healing the suffering of being human. So we're going to move all the way through, and at the end, we're going to end with the ending of life, really. I'm not going to do the keening and the deep keening in this set of 6, because it's just too deep and there's too much. So the Pibroch chants I'm going to leave out, and we might do another chapter when we'll do it in unfolding chapters. It helps if you come along to them all, but you can see them all on Zoom. So, not Zoom, I mean on what do you call that thing? YouTube. And you press the button and subscribe. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't understand a word of it, but that's what people are meant to do on this YouTube business. So, but the first thing I'm going to do before we start getting into babies is I'm going to sing a song to Sandra. Sandra, how do you pronounce your second name? Is it Lullabies? Liebnik. Sandra Liebnik. Okay, thank you, darling. Now, it was Sandra's initiative partly that made me do this at this time, and I wanted to sing you this song because I have never sung it before. And I'm getting these, I've had in my life sort of 3 very intense times when songs have just streamed and streamed and streamed. And this is another one of these intense times. And sometimes I can't absorb the song without reading the words. Now, normally I would always absorb the song out of reverence to the song and sing it without reading it off a piece of paper. But I have too much going on right now to have absorbed the song. I wrote it only 2 months ago. I wrote it after I went to a hotel in Elgin. It was the town hall in Elgin, where there was a big public meeting about a group of men who had come to the town, and they were Somali, they were Syrian, they were all refugees. And I went and I listened to what was happening in the room, and I came out in awe of the people who were trying to, despite their public roles, be compassionate and loving to a group of men who'd come through hell, probably, to get themselves here. And I was also disappointed in my own people, some of them, who said things like, "He was patting my dog," as they walked past a guy who just happened to have skin that was a different colour. I was like, oh no, I can't. So I came home and I wrote a song. And this is the song. And I just got a tune. I get a lot of tunes in my head and I don't know where the tunes are. So I'm going to sing you this song because it's a song for people who come to a different culture and who are looking for roots and who are going to, if I can do anything about it, have some of the roots that are here because they're there. Belonging is here, despite all of that nonsense. So I'm going to sing you this song. It's for you. I'm going to give it to you, all right? Because you have your own roots and because you know what I'm talking about. And if I was in Eastern Europe, I would be feeling belonging too because I feel that wherever I go, because I have these roots within myself, I can root. I could live anywhere really now in my life, at this point in my life. I mean, I wouldn't like certain places because it's too hot, too cold, but you know what I mean, it's that kind of feeling. So this is a song, I wrote these words just because I was so moved that night. So I'm going to say, welcome, Sandra, to Scotland. Come in aboot, you're welcome here. Pull up a chair aside the fire. Close by the flickering embers there, lay down your burden o' despair. And as the evening shadows fall, we'll think on what unites us all, what we hae lost, what we had dear, what fears beset your journey here. Ee-dee-dee-dee-ho-dee-dee, ee-oh-hee-oh-hee-oh-ro-ro-ro, ee-ah-da-dee-oh-hee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Ee-oh-hee-oh-hee-oh-ro-ro-ro. I hinna been far ye hae been, and I hinna seen fat ye hae seen. The blood is strong, though flesh is weak, and through yon tears some comfort seek. For into the night where ships set sail through foam and sea and winter's gale, what fate bestows we canna ken. Hearts bound in love to love again. Hee-dee-dee-dee, hee-dee-dee-dee, hee-oh, 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 ro-ro-ro. Ee-ah-da-da-dee-oh, hee-dee-dee-dee-dee, the tune of that, I didn't remember what it was, but I just loved it and I had it in my head. And I now know what it is because I checked it out, and it's part of one of the most beautiful tunes I think we've ever produced in this country. It's called Lament for the Children. And it's a lament that was composed on the pipes in the 1600s by a man called Padre Gordon McCrimmon, who was probably one of the greatest piping composers we've ever known. And the Lament for the Children was his response to, on the small island of Skye where he lived, somebody brought smallpox and he lost 6 of his 7 children to smallpox. And he wrote Lament for the Children because of that experience. So I just think it's a very beautiful, tune to give to people who have often been through enormous turbulence to land. So to all the people who have been through enormous turbulence, to find a place to be, I would just say we can share that song with them too. Okay, moving on to children. And dreams and lullabies. But before we move on, I'm just going to read you again, because I try to read this every time, I forgot the last time, but Stanley's words about the oral tradition. Stanley Robertson, for those who weren't here, was one of the travelling people. He really was a Senechie, which would have been a sort of a wise person passing on knowledge. And he said, the oral tradition, you've got everything. You've got a whole ancestry behind you that comes through you. And when you're telling a story or singing a song, you are the vehicle by which a tribe comes through you. And all your ancestors come to help you. My Auntie Jeannie, who was probably one of our greatest singers, my Auntie Jeannie used to say, when you sing a ballad, tak it out bonny. Take it out bonny. Pitting ballads out here and there, the travellers would have been creating waves in the air. It's recorded in the wa's and in the steins and in the trees. So when you sing a ballad, breathe it in till it fills every part of your body. And when you become all the characters, it's inside of you. Then you can tak it out bonny. As best as you can. She never said you to be a great singer. She just wants you to feel the spirit and tak it out bonny. Okay, so tonight we're going to feel the spirit and tak it out bonny. If anybody wants to research any of this, there's an excellent website called in Gaelic Tobar an Dulchas, or the Kist of Gold website, and it's at the School of Scottish Studies, and you'll find a lot of this material in that website. I'll put as much of this information on YouTube as I can. With every song, with everything, I'll put it there so people can just dip in as they want. And eventually I hope to build a whole compendium of this, you know. So we're looking at songs in the breast milk. Songs that come through and through and through ancestral lines. A while ago, if I can find it now, I wrote something here which was, I've written books, and I'll bring some of them one of the times, but there's a book percolating which is called Songs in the Breast Milk, which is about songs that transformed circumstances at different times in my life, where something shifted as a result of a song. And I don't intend to publish it, really, because I'm fed up of publishers and things, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, not at my age, you know, I'm just getting a bit past the nonsense of it all. But I can read the stories and put it on, so I'll just go and put the stories on YouTube. But one of the stories, one of the things that I remember writing years ago about this, if I can just find it. No, not on there. Right, let's just look at this next list of things. Yes. Songs on the breast milk. It was before the breast milk that the songs came, through the umbilical into the warm liquid pool of your mother's belly, into your existence before it existed on earth, and maybe even before that in some other existence, the vibration of her heart song. She sang every day to life and to the life that was becoming yours. Then on the breast suckling there was drinking it all in like a soft, expectant sponge in surrender to osmosis and to its vibration far within your body. Then the songs and their abundance would cascade from her. Where did it come from, this beautiful legacy, our oral tradition? Was it from her heart or her lips? Was it from the breast or the pit of her gut? Were you drinking it or hearing it or sensing it, learning it? Or was it all just you anyway and all that is, with nothing to do except be a baby? The bonny Earl O'Murray and his tragic queen, Dream Angus, maker of dreams, the fluers of the forest and the bad things that happened to the Scottish people when they were in fighting with the English, drinking the music, soaking it in. And so it was that the mysteries of your own heart song came to steward your passage through life, entering the story of your life, weaving its way through it, gathering momentum imperceptibly until it was to occupy the centre stage in your existence, telling its own story, with your job surely only to give it voice.
Did you write that?
Yeah. Yeah, I get inspired sometimes, you know. Yeah, I wrote that. So, Dream Angus, maker of dreams. I'm going to start with the song Dream Angus. Can you no stop your weeping? All the wee lambs are sleeping. Birdies are nestling together. Dream Angus is hirpling o'er the heather. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, my bairnie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought you a dream, my dear. Hush with the curlew crying, softly the echoes dying. Even the birds and the beasties are sleeping, but my bonny bairn is weeping, weeping. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, my bairnie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought you a dream, my dear. So we're going to sing that, okay? Okay. And Dream Angus is the kind of Celtic god of dreams and of love generally. And the image of him is that he has 4 wrens on his crown. And the wrens go into the child's consciousness and drop dreams and he sends them out. And I used to imagine him when I was a wee girl, because he was hirpling. And if you walk on heather, you do hirple. Do you know what the hirple means? To walk kind of unsteadily because the heather's bouncing you. So I can imagine this manny with a big kilt on, a huge giant of a man with a big kilt with the dreams in his bag, you know. That's what I had in my head with him. My mother used to sing this quite a lot. And a lot of people, when I go and sing this at different things, other people come up to me, my mum sang that as well. You know, it's just such a recognition, this song. It's a beautiful, beautiful little song. So, and I would sing it in a gentle voice, as if I was working with a child. And I've even got this is my teddy. You know, I've had this for very many years. And this is my teddy. And it's fallen to bits. So I'm passing it round if anybody wants to give it a cuddle. But he's not very happy because he's got one leg that I used to hold him like that. So he's only got a bit of a wonky leg. And sometimes I don't know whether there's a connection between him and Angus, but anyway. And he's been slobbered on so much that he's covered. But anyway, I still got him. And in my times of despair, sometimes he sits beside me. So I'll wrap him up so that he doesn't get too many what sits on and light, because he's so fragile that he's going to fall to bits any minute. But I was reading some of my mother's letters to her mother today when my mother was giving birth to my second brother, and she was desperate to get me away because she had preeclampsia and she had to lie in a bed. And she had me in the bed, and she had to sing to me all the time to keep me entertained. As long as I was singing, I was happy, apparently. And so she was singing to me all the time. And she said she'd taken him away because I was getting a rash because I was slobbering him that much that I got a rash on my face, so she hid him. I thought, how dare you take my teddy away, you bad woman? I was thinking that today, you know, but actually, he's still here. But you see all the way down here, all the side is just kind of whatever. I think he's quite hygienic. So you can have a look at him if you want to pass him in. Do you want to pass him round? As I sing this, so we can sing. We'll sing it, and then we'll sing the chorus together until you get the chorus, and then if you like the song, you can get it later on. Can I no stop your weeping, oh, the wee lambs are sleeping, oh, birdies are nestling together. Dream Angus is harping o'er the heather. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, my Barney, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Hush, with a carle crying, oh, softly the echoes dying, oh, even the birds and the beasties are sleeping, but my bonny Ben is weeping, weeping. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, my Bernie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Dream, dream, Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Okay. So the chorus goes, and we can all learn the chorus. And when we were talking last time about rhythm on the physical, melody on the emotions, harmonies on the mind, and stillness for the soul, when the song lands, there's the stillness time. And you felt it there. Simple stillness. So the chorus of it Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, ma Bernie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Do you want to sing it, or do you just want to be still and not sing it? You could.
I want to be on your lap.
Oh, I know. It's
So
just,
beautiful. It takes you back to like,
yeah,
you know, in the cradle.
yeah. These songs are for that purpose. They're bridging songs, you know, they're life bridging songs, they're growing up songs and taking first tentative sensory experience in. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Do you want to sing it? Oh, I mean, you're welcome. Yeah. We'll take it up a bit. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, ma Bernie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. We can do it again. And once you've got it, I'll sing it, and you can have we do the chorus. Is pitch all right? Too high?
We'll fit in.
Oh, well, you're going. Dream. I can sing it like that, but it's not. That's not a way to sing that song. I can say dreams to sell, fine, but we've got to do it gentle. Do it, babies. Yeah. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, ma Bernie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, ma Bernie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. So I sing it now then, and you sing the chorus with me. Can he no stop your weeping, oh? All the wee lambs are sleeping, oh. Birdies are nestling together. Dream Angus is harping o'er the heather. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, my without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Hush, with a carle who crying, oh, softly the echoes dying, oh. Even the birds and the beasties are sleeping, but my bonny bairn is weeping, weeping. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here, we dreams to sell. Hushie, my Bernie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Beautiful song, isn't it? Okay.
Something has changed in the room.
Something has changed, yeah, something changes. I'm going to make another change now. This is a similar song. And this is a song, again, that my mother used to teach me, sing with me, but it's a song about the fairies. In some of the ancient symbology stories, the fairies on the etheric are they're there in the ether, and if you go, this is a story about a young woman who goes out onto the hill and she puts her baby down in the heather, and then she goes off to gather blueberries, and the fairies come. She's not quite taken enough care, maybe, and the fairies take the baby, and she searches for the baby. And it's a very pretty song. It's a song about just searching for your baby and not finding it. But there's so many layers to these songs. And I'm going to sing you the one my mother taught me, or sang to me when I was little, because it's a very sweet, beautiful, similar tone to Dream Angus. It's for putting babies to sleep. It's called the Fairy Lullaby. And it's a lullaby, and it's sung mostly as a lullaby. And that's how I learnt it. And I always sang it as a lullaby, but I knew in my heart that it was sweetening a subject, if you like, sweetening a human experience. And I'll sing it to you. It's a beautiful, beautiful little song. And, you know, it's easy to learn, and you sing it to babies. Then I'm going to sing you another version of the same song. Not exactly the same song, but the same song. And I'll tell you a little bit about the story of that, because I didn't discover this second version until about 3 months ago. This is the Fairy Lullaby, and the chorus goes, Hovan, hovan, gori ogo, gori ogo, gori ogo, hovan, hovan, gori ogo. I lost my darling baby, oh. That's the chorus. and I'll sing you the song. And we'll sing the chorus every time, so it's very simple and it's easy just to add it. And the story is the story. And we might sing it twice so you get lots of chances to sing this beautiful chorus. I left my baby lying here, lying here, lying here. I left my baby lying here and went to gather blaeberries. Hovan, hovan, gori o go, gori o go, gori o go. Hovan, hovan, gori o go. I lost my darling baby, oh. That's the chorus. I followed the tracks of the mountain deer, the mountain deer, the mountain deer. I followed the tracks of the mountain deer, but never found my baby, oh. Hovan, hovan, gori o go, gori o go, gori o go. Hovan, hovan, gori o go. I lost my darling baby, oh. I saw the swan upon the loch, upon the loch, upon the loch. I saw the swan upon the loch, but never found my baby, oh. Hovan, hovan, gori o go, gori o go, gori o go. Hovan, hovan, gori o go. I lost my darling baby, oh. I followed the wee brown otter's tracks, the otter's tracks, the otter's tracks. I followed the wee brown otter's tracks, but never found my baby, oh. Hovan, hovan, gori o go, gori o go, gori o go. Hovan, hovan, gori o go. I lost my darling baby, oh. I left my baby lying here, lying here, lying here. I left my baby lying here and went to gather blaeberries. Hovan, hovan, gori o go, gori o go, gori o go. my darling baby, oh.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful little song. It's a very sweet little song. I remember the first session I talked about all my family, and I talked about my great grandmother, three greats, great grandmother, Mrs. Duncan, and she was married to the blacksmith in Ochnagat, and she was one of Lady Aberdeen's onwards and upwards women who learnt how to behave themselves and educate themselves and not. She was quite a revolutionary, was Lady Aberdeen, and the Onwards and Upwards Society was moulded my family because this lady, my great grandmother, was part of the Onwards and Upwards Society. So basically, all the female servants had to stop listening to the butler and get on with doing their own thing, and she had them all organised, and she began. One of the things she began was the Women's Institute and the Council of Women all over the blooming world, this woman. She was something else. And my great granny was one of her people because she was being educated. And I think that actually, she's written this in English. And that would not have been her normal language. Doric she would be speaking Doric at home, but she learned English. And she was publishing anthologies of poetry. I've got the original book here. This is a photocopy. I don't even touch the book because it's the only one that's in existence probably of my great granny, Jane Duncan's poems. But she was widowed. Her husband was 45 and he died. So she got a few kids to bring up on her own, like you do in those days. And she lost a baby. And she writes a poem about her lost baby. And just amazing to have these handed down, and to have my mother went into enormous lengths to make sure I had all these. I've got two brothers, but neither of them were particularly interested. I was just really keen to have everything about what our family was all about. So I got all the stuff. So it's under my bed. I've got bags of it and pictures of them and all of them, and they're all writing poetry or singing or playing instruments or, yeah. So this is a fireside musing on the death of a babe. And she writes, how amazing is this?
Is this your great granny?
No, but three greats.
Okay.
I think it's the early 1800s. I can't. Anyway, this was published in Aberdeen. No, it was published in Peterhead. The James Gregg printer, the Marshall Press, Peterhead. And there's a picture of her. I'll pass it round. You can see a picture of this wifey. Bless her. And my mother went and researched her, and she's in the Achnagat churchyard, and she's managed to get for her children, she's got headstones. She's got a headstone for her husband. She's put it all there, and it's full of thistles. My mother's found them all, and I can go there tomorrow if I wanted to. My mother's left me all the directions to get to my great grandmother's grave. How good is that? I mean, I haven't been, to be honest, but I will go.
I'll come with you and pull the thistles out for you, babe.
No, but they're carved on a headstone.
Oh.
You won't get them out.
Okay.
All right, then, you can come. I'm going to go and do a visitation of all this. I was living in England for 27 years, and I was working all over the world in trauma and child abuse and doing all sorts of things. And I'd go home, and my mother would say, "I'm just going round a stone circle." And I thought, "Oh my God, Mother, are we going round a stone circle, Christ? Oh, I want to do that kind of thing. Thanks very much. It'd be wet and cold, and I don't really know if I want to go out." But anyway, I used to get dragged round these stone circles, and I had to appreciate them. Now I can't get out. I get enough of stone circles. And if you go on the YouTube thing, you'll see, oh my God, one of the most incredible experiences of my life was at Stenness in Orkney, chanting for the death of the sun, the lament for the dying sun, a Pibroch chant, as the sun and the solstice was dying over the horizon. Elaine, were you there with me? You took that, didn't you? I wondered who took that. I thought it must have been Elaine, yeah. That was just the most extraordinary thing. So if you go on the YouTube channel, press a button that says subscribe if you manage to do that, and then you'll see that amazing piece of footage that Elaine took. It was just awe-inspiring. And I was chanting the Lament for the Dead, the ancient Pibroch Lament for the Dead. And it was just, I'll never forget that day. It was awesome. And I think of all the stone circles I've trailed round my mother, saying, oh, that's very interesting, Mum, you know, how good is that? Yeah, thanks very much. Kind of thing, you know. I was so stupid. Anyway, you get a bit older, you know. You do, you get, and wiser, don't you? It was beautiful. My mother used to try and protect stone circles, so she would write to God knows who. Donald Dewar was one of her cronies. I don't remember Donald Dewar. He was he was a politician, and he used to help her. He used to tell farmers they went to dig them up because she had a lot of knowledge about them, and she used to write poems about them too. Anyway, I'll read you my the great granny. This is on the death of a babe. A precious gift sent as a boon from heaven, a light to shine upon my darkened way, a star to cheer in solitude and gloom and point me onward to a brighter day. A precious gift, a floweret on my path that I might watch and tend with loving care, a gift to turn my thoughts away from self and bid me in her joys and sorrows share. But now the giver hath recalled the gift. The sky is darkened and the star is gone. The flower is faded, hidden from my sight, and I am weary, desolate and lone. My child, that precious gift God gave to me, not mine to keep, but lent me for a time. He may have seen I could not tend aright a flower so frail in such a changing clime. And he has taken her unto himself to bloom forever near the Saviour's throne. So would he wean my thoughts from earth away to yonder land where my dear ones are gone. And when he bids me lay my burden down and follow to that land so bright and fair, it may be when I reach the gates of pearl, my child will be the first to greet me there. Lord, thou hast promised yet another gift. Grant me that gift. I shall be truly blessed. Hast thou not said unto the weary one, come unto me, and I will give you rest? You know, nothing's new under the sun. I mean, all these thoughts and feelings and emotions, they're not, they're eternal. When we look at grief, it's just an eternal thing. It doesn't change. Pain of it doesn't change. It's all the same stuff. I look at that and I think, my God, imagine having to bring up kids that have no income. Anyway, I don't know where she got the income, because he died when he was 45 and the youngest was just a toddler. Maybe she did a lot of work for Lady Aberdeen. I think she probably did. And she's probably a kitschy dame. I don't know what she did, but a kitschy dame. Remember we talked yesterday about last week about kitschy dames, kitchen servants.
In a big house.
In Harrow House. Harrow House is Harrow House is not far from Aberdeen. Ellen. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I've been there at weddings and things in the past, because they hire it out for weddings. I took a hell of a battering in the Storm Anwen. Every tree was raised in that particular area. It's just flattened. But Lord and Lady Aberdeen were really very interesting people, because they were instrumental in social change in this area. They were unusually conscious people, and their employees, the Harrow House Society, all the employees had to adhere to certain of their views and attitudes which were that education is critical, and we'll do our best to educate our workforce, and we're not going to exploit them, the ideals that they had were miles beyond their time. Okay, so that I think, to be honest, my family, when we were going down the generations, they always benefited from that spark, because they were always smart. That side of the family were always, they had acumen. They'd had an education of some description that she passed it down. It's at a time when most people weren't getting that, or most people of their ilk weren't getting it. So we've sung that beautiful "I Left My Baby Lying Here and Went to Gather Braeberries," which is just a beautiful little thing, and I've recorded that, so I'll put that up. So we're now going to go into another version of this song. I'm going to talk about a little bit. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a story which I'll not forget, because it took me into this. It gave me this song. I met Cailleach about 4 months ago, and we got on the house on fire for all sorts of reasons. But Cailleach has a little boy who has, he's got, what should I say, issues. We're not using the word.
Struggles.
It's big struggles, yeah. And so they come to my house sometimes, and I live on the harbour. And we've had some food, and Cailleach's outside, and they've both gone outside, and I get in the bath. And I'm lying back in my bath. He loves the bath. So I'm lying in my bath, and suddenly the door opens, and there's this little person standing beside me in the bath, and I realise that this is very interesting, because I'm not quite the same shape and put together quite the same way as his mother, so this is very interesting. So I'm having a bath. I think, oh, well, I'm having a bath. So he's sitting on the side of the bath, and we're playing harbours, because we've got a harbour outside, so we're making lots of noise and splashing away, and I'm trying to wash my hair and do all these things you do in a bath, with a small boy doing interesting things, making all sorts of things, and, with all my shampoo bottles. So I hear this footsteps padding along the hall, and I think to myself, oh, she must have come in to put some washing, or, wash the knives or something, or put them away, or get something. I pay no attention to it. And then, about 10, 15 minutes later, I hear boof, 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 boof coming along my hall. And I think, oh, it's like this, what's going on? And then I hear a voice which is, Madge, is Dillian with you? And I say, yeah, we're playing harbours kind of thing. And then I hear my door to my living room shutting, and then I hear a stifled wail, and I hear a thud. I think, okay, And this little person is playing more harbours, making more splashing and more noise, and hasn't registered it, so I'm thrilled about that. So we're still playing harbours, and eventually this young woman comes in and says, oh, something like this, with this tone of voice. Oh, Jill, I wondered where you were. Mummy lost you for a bit, or something like that, whatever it was she said. And we said, oh, well, we didn't realise. We were just here having a bath kind of thing. And then I realised the other side of the subplot, which was that this person here had been running around the harbour for maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes, in the belief that her child might be in it.
We said we was going to the harbour.
You said you were going to the harbour, yeah. So there was a group of people outside my door. There was a search party on the job. There was consternation because this little boy was lost on the harbour. And I was, it's one of these unavoidable situations, but I was amazed that you managed to hold because I wouldn't have done that. I would have been in there saying, what the hell were you doing? You know what parents do most of the time. It's like, oh my God. They put their terror on the kid. And that would have caused, my bathroom would have erupted at that point. I would have, anyway,
Would have been
the bath would have been out the way. So I was just thinking, oh my God. And that really took me into the loss of a child, big time. What's that experience like? And it took me into this song, the song we've just sung, which doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut the experience. It doesn't. It's a nice, beautiful little sweet lullaby about the loss of a baby. Oh, really? Is that what it's like? No, it's not. It's something else. So I thought there's got to be a version that touches that. So I start searching. Sure enough, there's a stunningly beautiful Gaelic version in the Gaelic, but with exactly the same, when you translate it out of the Gaelic, it's the same words, really. In Gaelic, it's the same as I've just sung you, but it's in Gaelic. So less sung, because 2% of the population in our country speak Gaelic. So not likely to see the light of day as much as it could. So I think to myself, well, I really want this beauty to be to be broader than that, because it's such a beautiful, beautiful song, this, with the tune. I'll sing it to you, this other tune that in my humble opinion contains the experience, contains that experience and holds it, because that's what these songs do. They hold experiences that are can't be held without a container to hold them. They can hold loss in a way that nothing else can. And certainly when you get deeper into our music for that purpose, it's an extraordinarily beautiful way of holding an experience that is overwhelmingly impossible to hold. So I'm going to sing you this song now, and this is another version. You'll see the difference. And what I did is I took the Gaelic words, and I had them translated into English. Gaelic doesn't really translate into English, because you lose so much of the beautiful constructions and the linguistic features of it. It translates better into Scots because the sounds are more similar. Partly, but for other reasons too, because we've got Gaelic, bits of Gaelic woven into the Scots language already, so it's easier to put it into Scots. So I'm going to sing you Mochúrachan. Mochúrachan is my fragrant one. My fragrant one, I left you. Mochúrachan. Mochúrachan, si chóvrilar. That's the Gaelic. Mochúrachan si chóvrilar. Mochúrachan si chóvrilar. Hatuach mi larak. Mochúrachin. Hatuach mi larak. Mochúrachin. Now you'll get used to it because there's a whole lot of verses of this. And the translation that I have out of the Gaelic is, I laid my bairn on yonder brae, yon heather brae. I laid my bairn down on the brae and went to gather blueberries. I gid my bairn a heather bed, soft heather bed. Twas there I laid my plaidy down, which is that kind of thing that you wrap a bairn in, that thing. And lost my darling baby, oh. I socht my bairn o'er hill and glen and roon aside yon foaming burn. I scoured among yon corries bare, but never found my bonny bairn. I saw the swan rise on the loch with lint white wings abeen the loch. I found the wee brown otter's tracks, but never found my bairnie, oh. The curlew calls abeen the mist that swirls aroon yon high, high ben. I followed tracks o' mountain deer, but never found my bairnie, oh. So it's the same feel of a song, the same kind of story, same kind of words, but very different energy, And there might be some words that people didn't get, so I'll read it in English. I laid my child on yonder hill, on yonder, slope, on yonder slope, on yon heather slope. I laid my child down on the slope and went to gather blaeberries. Blaeberries are these little blueberries.
I think they're bilberries, aren't they?
Bilberries, the very thing.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. I gave my child a heather bed, soft heather bed. 'Twas there that I laid my plaidy doon, which is the thing that I wrap round myself, and I lost my darling baby-o. I sought my child over hill and glen and round beside yon foaming stream. I scoured among yon corries, which are the high escarpments, bare, but never found my bonny bairn. I saw the swan rise on the loch with lint white wings, with these beautiful wings. Above the loch, I found the wee brown otter's tracks, but never found my bairnie-o. The curlew calls above the mist that swirls around yon high ben, like Ben Nevis, Ben this, Ben that. It's a, what's the word for that anyway? I can't mind. Hill, mountain. I followed tracks of mountain deer, but never found my bairnie-o. Mochúrachan si hovrilar, mochúrachan si hovrilar. And then, when I've been studying the bagpipes, there are various notes in the pipes, which I'm not going to go into so much, but I put one of them in because, did I find it? Yeah. So, in the pipes, they're really the instrument that carries emotion. I mean, you don't have to guess about that because you can hear it in the pipes. But the big bagpipes are, emotion there, gut-wrenching. So there's the pipers. This is a very interesting way of looking at it. Somebody not in the beginning of this century went into the pipes and extracted the kind of ambience of the notes. So the bottom is low G, it's the devil's note. Then there's the piper's note. Then there's the challenge note. Then there's the musical note. Then there's the angry note. Then there's the echoing note. Then there's the love note. And then there's the sorrow and lament note. And the top one is the piper's note. So I'm deliberately bring in the sorrow note at one point, as I'm getting slightly more savvy about this, because I can hear it in all the tunes and I know where it comes and I can put it into this one. So I'll sing it and then we can go back and sing it together. It's quite an easy tune. So the chorus is Mochúrachan si hovrilar, Mochúrachan si hovrilar, Mochúrachan si hovrilar, Hatof mi larak Mochúrachin. I laid my bairn doon on yon brae, yon heather brae. I laid my bairn doon on the brae, and went together blaeberries. Mochúrachan si hovrilar, Mochúrachan si hovrilar, Mochúrachan si hovrilar, Hatof mi larak Mochúrachin. I gave my bairn a heather bed, soft heather bed. 'Twas there I laid my plaidy doon, and wast my darling bairnie-o. Mochúrachan si hovrilar, Mochúrachan si hovrilar, Mochúrachan si hovrilar, Hatof mi larak Mochúrachin. a socht ma bairn o'er hell and glen, and rune aside yon foam and burn, a scoured among yon corries bare, but never found ma bairnie o. Mochorachan, si hovri lar, mochorachan, si hovri lar, mochorachan, si hovri lar, hat of mi larak, mochorachin. I saw the swan rise on the loch, with lent white wings abeen the loch. I found the wee brown otter's tracks, but never found my bairnie o. Mochorachan, si hovri lar, mochorachan, si hovri lar, mochorachan, si hovri lar, hat of mi larak, mochorachin. The Cailleach a been the mast that swallows around yon high ben. I followed tracks o mountain deer, but never found my bairnie o. Mochorachan, si hovri lar, mochorachan, si hovri lar, mochorachan, si hovri lar, hat of mi larak, mochorachin. Do you want to sing it again? Takes you into all sorts of areas of your life. To see this. Whew. I sometimes think I'm needing this. So I'm going to take it to everything I do, because I love it. It's such a beautiful thing. I just got it this week. And it was carved by an old man from Aberdeen, and he's carved many, many of these. And there are, what do you call these, Elaine? These bits?
Interlace.
Interlace.
Yeah, just that.
That's little.
Over and under.
Over and under interlace from the. This is on the picture stones, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a poet. He writes poems. And he walks the hills, and he's now, this old gentleman's now in an Alzheimer's unit. So he's lost his connection to this. And this is carved with such reverence, you know. And I could just hold that in my life. I'll pass it round so you can feel it. His grandson, who gave it to me, was going to come tonight, but he's working. But this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I was going through this man's anthology of poems. He's got poems too. He writes in the Doric as well. And I wondered if he knew my mother, because it was a small world, and he's quite an elderly guy. And anyway, I was reading his anthology of poems today. There was one poem in there which completely cracked me up. I was rolling about laughing with this poem. I couldn't stop laughing. And I'm not going to tell you the poem now, but when we do the last session, which will be, I'm going to describe the songs that surrounded both my parents' passing, because there was song with both my parents in their passing through some miraculous coincidence of life. And I'll be telling the stories and singing the songs. And I'm going to sing that song, just in case things get a bit heavy. I'm going to sing this guy's song, because it's on the same subject. It's about death, but it's a bit like McGinty's Meal and Ale story, the relation to death, because you can sometimes get too bloody serious about life, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you just need to lighten up. So I'm going to try and weave it into the mix when we do the last session. I'm going to ask if I'm going to learn the song before we do it, and I'll ask permission to. I'm sure they'll be fine about me singing it, but it is just incredibly interesting, wonderful, because it sums up the character of the people in a way that you have to, you know, just the way that people think. This guy's got it. You know, he's got the way that people think around this neck of the woods. It's just so typical, because it just blew me away, that the kind of acuity of observation around death. So I'm going to sing that one in the last, but I just thought I'd show you my stick today, because I'm going to take it every time I do anything now. I'm taking it with me because it's like a talisman, and I love it. You're welcome to have a wee look at it. I'll pass it around because it's quite big. See, it's quite tall. Oh, God. See how big that is?
Solid.
Yeah.
Suits you.
Thank you. Oh, I forgot the fine pieces. Oh, the fine pieces. Right, so this is one of the fine pieces. So what you like? Well, that's right. You'll have to spit out the candy. So this is one of my granny's fine pieces. So Granny was a great. This is my father's family, not the other side. This one. She's the fireside that we're at, the metaphorical fireside that we're at, and she was tuck up a fine piece. No, tuck up a fine piece. She would. Everybody had to tuck up a fine piece because she kept producing them. And one of the fine pieces that she would produce was her own oat cakes. Oh, she'd make them on the girdle. But on top of the oat cake, she'd put thick butter and then rasp jam. Her own rasp jam, raspberry jam. And it was often, I had to go out and pick the rasps, wild rasps, because they're much tastier than the mass-produced rasps. So I can't make oat cakes. I haven't got a girdle, and I'm not for doing it, learning crash course on oat cakes all week. So I decided to buy some oat cakes, but I wouldn't just buy any oat cakes, because not everybody's oat cakes are like my granny's, but these are like my granny's. They're behind me. Thank you very much. These are Donald's oat cakes from Portsoy. So there's the bakery in Portsoy makes Donald's oat cakes. They're the best around, and you can buy them in the farm shop. If you know, I'm not on commission for anybody, but the truth is they're great oat cakes. So I went and got Donald's oat cakes, and I put lashings of butter on, a good butter, none of your mass-produced nonsense. I went and got myself some decent butter, and then I have some rasp jam, locally made rasp jam that tastes about as good as my granny's. So you're all going to get. You're all going to get a cup of fine peace. And it reminds me, I forgot, I was saying you last time, my granny lived in a place called Dalmuchie. And Dalmuchie is a wee, a tied cottage to the estate, because my grandfather worked as a gillie and a gamekeeper on the estate, so they had this tied cottage. And they didn't have livestock, but my granddad had all these dogs because he was always out shooting and doing whatever. And often there would be people, Billy Connolly's tra-la-la, trollolo people, you know, that walk about with these big staves and walk about, you know, people that loved hill walking. And they would, now and again, one would walk past kind of close. And before we knew where we were, my granny was out. Fah's that coming in a boot? Fah's that? I want down and spear at the money. Fah's that? So I'd have to go down and say, excuse me, would you like to come into my granny's house for a fine piece? So she'd dish out these fine pieces to everybody because that's the way of it. It's just a way. And so we would have, you go into sometimes, now this is Jeremy from Neasden. I said, what the hell's Neasden? What the hell's Neasden? And Jeremy from Neasden would be sitting with a plate full of this or whatever he was to get. And at Christmas time, she would have all these lovely Christmas cards from Jeremy from Neasden and somebody else from Chipping Sodbury and all these kind of places that I'd never heard of. But it was great fun because she just did that. And then she would know, you would go to the WI with her. Every year there would be the big flower show and everybody's jams would be there. And she would, I don't know how she knew this. That's Mrs. McConduch's. And see, that's Bessie Stewart's. They were all just dumps of jam. You wouldn't know who the hell had made them. But she knew Jessie Stewart's jams and she knew Mrs. McConduch's. And because they were all, and the scones, they were making all these things, you see, and they would know each other's without any label. Oh my God, I thought it was a miracle myself when I was a wee girl. I think, how did she know that? Anyway, and who's getting the prize? What?
She was a medium.
She was a medium, yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, she read the tea leaves. She read tea leaves.
Oh.
Do you know tea leaves? You do. I remember watching her doing this. Everybody got a tea leaf read. I never really understood it at the time. I don't really understand it now, but everybody was very happy. I think Jeremy from Neasden got his tea leaves read in our living room. But anyway, right, here's the fine piece of... now this, in Doric, this is a slorich. I'm making a slorich. It's an awful slorich that's coming about me here because I'm covered in jam. But anyway, I hope we don't get jam over the carpet. We'll try not to. Put it in the grate. So that's some of my granny's. Just have a little bit, pass it around. So there's an ashet there with with my granny's with my granny's pretend. But the taste of the thing about it is it's a beautiful combination of saltiness and sweetness. You better eat a whole lot of them because I'm not eating all of them. You better take two if you like them.
When you said spear at the money, I hadn't heard that in a long time.
You hadn't heard that?
No, spear, I'd completely forgotten that word.
Spear.
Money.
Spear at the money. I want spear at the money.
I wonder where that word spear was.
I don't know. You'd have to look up the derivation. It means ask the man. Go and ask the man.
It's interesting, but it's like inspiration. It's like the inspire. It's like
When you're spearing at the
Spear.
money, it just means look at him.
No, it means ask him.
Aye, that's it.
Ask him.
So,
What's the connection? Did you say?
no, it's just
Spiro.
It's like spear. It's like the bread, isn't it? But just
Yeah.
can I have a look at your stick, Madge?
Of course you can have a look at my stick. Right, we're going to do another song now.
I've got a couple of these.
And beautiful. Callum, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Doris' brother Cullerne.
Yeah, I think he might be called Eric. His granddad called Eric. His dad's called something. I know his dad, Graham. Isn't it beautiful? I think I might just have one myself.
It's familiar.
It's familiar. Did your mum used to make that? Oh. Oh, Ian, that's lovely. Bless you. Thank you. I've got an awful lot left, so we'll have to go round again for those.
Just going to say.
You were just going to say that. If I eat this, I won't be able to sing anything, but no, man.
Allow me.
Let everybody who couldn't come today live be very, very envious.
Envious of what?
Of the tree, of the jammy piece.
Of the jammy piece, aye.
Yeah, don't forget to come on Zoom.
I'm so sorry. So, right, so we're on to the last lullaby of the night now. It's completely different. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, we've got some time. So, I was going back through the ancient songs, the ancient pibrochs, 1700s, and I found one that was called the Old Woman's Lullaby. I thought, what's that all about? Because it's usually young women that sing to their bairns. What's the Old Woman's Lullaby? And the Old Woman's Lullaby was about the Cailleach. And the Cailleach is the female winter goddess. And you do not trifle with the Cailleach. Don't mess with her. Because she keeps you in shape. She's got a third eye between her here. She's a crone figure. She has her own flock of hinds that she milks. She spins the wind. She foams the sea. She walks about the top of the mountains, and she's got creels on her over her shoulders. And when she wants to have another mountain, she just chucks one of them down, and a mountain appears. If she doesn't like the way that the water courses are going, if she doesn't like the way that the rivers are going, she just takes a bite out the side of the mountain and they go in the other direction. You don't mess with her. But she's a benign figure. She gestates the seeds in the winter. She doesn't really like letting go to Bridget, who comes in the spring. But if she does, if she's scunnered, if she's a bit fed up, you'll just get snow in May. So you just better watch. So she's got a big message for climate change. And these songs are also potentially, some of them, social activism songs. So I really researched her, and my mother had written a poem about her called the Cailleach Vera. My mother learnt Gaelic later on. God, she's amazing. All the way through my school life, I didn't get to learn Gaelic because we spoke Doric, and although I lived in Argyll, and I was all around me was the sounds of Gaelic, and I got it through osmosis, and I got the sounds in my blood. Really, I loved the sounds so much. But we were supposed to speak Doric, as that was what my mother was written, and my father was written. We didn't speaking like Gaelic. We don't have that kind of melody in the language, and it's all in the hills and the landscape, But I was speaking like that at home, but I was speaking like this at school, and the land was going and it wasn't like it is here. So it was all very interesting. It was a bit of a so I've got all these Gaelic tunes in my blood, but I don't have I can't read and write the language, but I can hear it all because I heard it all around me. So where does that take me with the Gaelic? So this song, this tune would come from the west coast of Scotland, but what I've done is I've brought Scots words to it. So it was just a tune when I heard it, and I thought I'm going to work with this old woman's lullaby. I'm going to work with the Cailleach. I'm going to get into the spirit of the Cailleach, and I'm going to make a lullaby out of it. So that's what I did. So it's an old woman's lullaby, and it's a message to us, really, that we have to respect the Cailleach, because we're getting bad consequences for not respecting her.
By saying, it's too cold.
It's too cold. We're getting an awful lot of bad consequences. So it's a kind of climate change song, if you look at it like that. And it goes like this. And remember, it's an old woman's song. Hee-ree-ree, hodden-dree. Hee-ree-ree, hodden-dro. Hee-ree-ree, go-bra. Hee-ree, horo, horo. Hee-ree, hee-ree. Hee-ree-ree, hodden-dree. Had je wished, ma bairnie, sleep den afir, al Cailleach vera harai his oni. Den afir yon bugles, dream your bairn's dreams, see on al Cailleach harai his oni. She spins the wind, she foams the sea, drops steins for mountains frae her creel. Corrivrechen's pool she steers to wash awa bairnie's tears. Gathering her hinds at milking time, sends grey mist swirling down the glen. Frae her white plaidie, a blanket o' snow. Hee-ree-ree, hodden-dree. Hee-ree-ree, hodden-dro. Hee-ree-ree, go-bra. Hee-ree, horo, horo. Hee-ree, hee-ree. Hee-ree-ree, hodden-dree. So one of the things she does is that she goes to Corrivrechan Whirlpool and she washes her clothes there. And when she's got them washed, she tramples her blankets there. And when she's got them washed, she puts them on, she dries them on the hills, and that's how you get the snow. And then she fools the hunters by, she doesn't want her hinds getting hunted, so she just brings the mist down. And she's got a whole lot of interesting foibles and ploys, this wifey. My mother wrote a poem about her. It's got a hell of a lot of Gaelic words in it because it's all about place names. This is one of my mum's books. And this is how I learned about the Cailleach, because I had to go into my mum's books. Because she wrote a poem about it, but this is one of her books. It's called A Place Names of Upper Dee Side. So what she did with Adam Watson was to go all in her own study area, which was Ballater, where she lived, and around that area she had a study area, and they went to all of the hills and the burns and the whatever, everywhere, and they found the names of them. And when they found the names of them in Gaelic, they then found out what they meant. So she knew every fairy well, she knew all these places, and I mean, it's just awe-inspiring really to me that she did all this work and then handed it on to me, you know. But one of the, there's lots of references to the Cailleach. And just to give you an idea of it, I mean, I was just in awe of it, really. She wrote an article about the depopulation of emigration. In other words, Highland clearances from her area. They were cleared not for sheep but for deer. So the families left their homes, were thrown off their homes, so that deer stalking could take place. But she's got, I mean, there's just one, I mean, I was trying to look for examples that would be interesting. She says, and there's a picture here, which I'll send round. Oh, this is just amazing. So, because the landscape, the story of life is in the landscape. In the place names, the relationship between the people and the land is in the place names. So in this, for example, she said she's got the deserted farmhouse of Cailleach McCarrick overlooks the now uninhabited Upper Gairn side, with the Cailleach fields centre. She's got a picture of the Cailleach fields. Ben Ann left, and the hill of the brown cow right. In October, a pale band of mat grass, visible above the house, shows clearly against the dark heather, marking the location of the white calf, a snow wreath that usually persists until July each year. So this wee croft looks on to the white calf. And the reason it's called the white calf is because there's a snow wreath there until July. And you can see the white in the picture. Now, we've lost all of this. We're losing it fast. And she wrote about the Cailleach. The name of I thought, I wonder if she knew what this is today. Today, I've lived all my life, and this is today's little revelation. My granny's house was called Dalmuchie, and I thought, I wonder if it's in Mum's book, Dalmuchie. So I go into Mum's book, and what's it mean? It means the cottage on the side of the incline where the pig meadow was underneath. So there was a pig meadow, where they had pigs, on the lowland alongside the Dee, and it's called Dalmuchie. Couldn't believe it. I didn't know it was called that. That was the name of that Dalmuchie, which is where we lived. My granny lived. Was actually the pig hoch, the how of the pig. That's the name. That's the meaning of her house name. And I just found that in my mother's book. All my life, I might have died without knowing that. If I hadn't been doing this. Because I'm researching it. It's taken me right back into my own life.
Is it written in English or?
It's written in English. And one thing my mother did as well, which was they were doing their research in the study area, and they went right up to the back end of Braemar, which is, and all my ancestors would have spoken the Gaelic. They lost it maybe 150, 200 years ago. They would all been Gaelic speakers up there, because it was West Aberdeenshire was Gaelic speaking, up Braemar and all the way around there. And my mother went up to do research, doing this book, and she found this old wifey in a house, Mrs. Bain, and Mrs. Bain was still speaking Gaelic. Braemar Gaelic, different dialect completely to the Gaelic that you speak in the Hebrides. So she goes in and speaks to Mrs. Bain, and Mrs. Bain still got quite a lot of, she's an old woman, but she's still got a lot of the language. So then she gets on to the School of Scottish Studies, and they come running up with their tape recorders, and they've got to get Mrs. Bain's stash of Gaelic. And her story is that she was born to a serving girl in London, who was in service, and pretty soon smartish, illegitimate, obviously. She was taken home up here, and she was given to an elderly aunt and uncle of the family, who were right up at the Lullabies, and they spoke Gaelic to each other. These old people, these two elders, spoke Gaelic to each other. So she learnt the Gaelic then, and because it was spoken in the house, she was the only child in the house of these two older people. And then it died out. That dialect died out. Isn't that just, you know, with it, everything, you know? I've got a picture of Mrs. Bean because I think I've got a picture of Mrs. Bean here. Because my granny, my mother, it's all written up in the Scots magazine, all these, I've got all this old stuff that, you know. Now, I don't think she was fluent. Young Janag, Adam Watson, Betty Allen recall the remarkable lady who was the last surviving speaker of Deeside Gaelic. I can pass it round if you like. And there's a picture of her house and there's a picture of her. Hoi, hoi, hoi. But anyway, do you want to do another? We won't do another song, but do you want to repeat one of the songs? What do I want to sing? One of the songs? Because you're going to get it all in again, she says, on YouTube. So you don't have to be worrying about. You don't need to worry about any of this. If you want, just go and learn a song yourself, because it's all on there.
I'll just sing another song. Or can you recap what they are, the songs?
Well, first of all, we sang Dream Angus.
Oh, yeah.
Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. And then we did the version of the fairy lullaby, I Left My Baby Lying Here, the pretty one. And then we did the Gut Wrencher, which was very different, wasn't it?
Completely. The old lady song.
Then we did the old lady song, yeah.
Which one was the Gut Wrencher?
The one we lost the baby in the harbour.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
No. Yeah. So anyway, what we could sing another song. We could no.
What about the first one that we sang, where we joined in the chorus?
Yeah.
The Dream Angus is quite nice before we go off to sleep.
Yeah, let's do the Dream Angus then. Yeah. Maybe I'll just put one tiny one, which is not a thing. And I might just put one before because I've got time to sing a wee song. This is a social activist song because we have problems in our village. Because we haven't, the doctor's surgery's been closed and the next village doctor's surgery's been closed as well at the same time. And they were supposed to do due process, but they didn't do much really. And everybody suddenly had no doctor's surgery. And so to get to the doctor's, and when they went and protested about it, they were told, well, you have to come to this surgery really, and if you don't like this surgery, if you don't like spending 3 hours on a bus, then you can take your business elsewhere. So that didn't go down terribly well, and people were upset about it. And so I just thought, no, I'm going to write a song about this, but I'm going to do it as a bothy ballad. So I wrote this wee song. I'm not going to. We're just going to sing Dream Angus in a minute, but I just thought I'd throw this one in because I want to you know, people have been using song for social activism for a very long time in very positive ways, and things change as a result. And so the idea is that this is going down to Holyrood to make its mark. Who knows? That's what's likely to happen, I'm told, this week. So can you get it up on YouTube fast? Because we've got, okay. So that's what we're doing. So it goes like this, if I can remember it. It's on YouTube, but I'm nae really went in a business, but I'm off on needing a nurse. My store, my bag's gone all awry, and my belly aches, I've been a curse. My wife, she's been needing the doctor because she can't get out of her bed. And I can't get doing the surgery. Oh, I think I'm going off on my head. Well, I'm nae off a wheel and I'm off a nae wheel and I can't be happy again till you gie us back where surgeries. Humza, gonna do all that you can. No, you can't get sick in Open nor down the Rodenburg head. You have to visit a business in Lossiemouth. Sitting hours on the bus, you're near dead. Well, I can't get up the stairs of a bus and my all-bladder's needing a pee. And yon lassie with the 3 sickly bairns, well, I ken it, she's war off than me. Well, I'm nae off a wheel and I'm off a nae wheel and can't be happy again till they gie us back where surgeries. Humza, gonna do a' that you can. Now, Humza, listen you to my tale. and have some compassion indeed, for we're all needing care for the frae our NHS. So roll up your sleeves and tak heed. And we're all needing our surgeries back. Grampian business models nae good. So for Scotland's sake, tak our plight to your heart, for life's no about business nor greed. Oh, I'm nae half a wheeling, I'm half a nae wheeling, I canna be happy again till you do us back our surgeries. Humza, gonna do ya that you can. Oi. I don't know where it's going to go, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into the right places. You see, that kind of thing can just make a mark when other things don't, you know. Anyway, so we're going to sing a nice lullaby after we've razzled up the populace. But you know, when I think about going back in my own life, I remember hearing Peggy Seeger singing, I'm going to be an engineer. You know, I'm wearing my corduroys. She was just like, you know, come on. I want to be an engineer. In the days when women were not engineers, you know. And those things made a difference. And it does make a difference. Anyway, and so these beautiful freedom songs from everywhere, you know, they make a difference. Everybody remembers them. Anyway, so we'll see where that one goes. Okay, so let's do Dream Angus. Let's get into another. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, my Bernie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Can ye no stop your weeping, oh? All the wee lambs are sleeping, oh. Birdies are nestling the galore. Dream Angus is harping o'er the heather. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hushie, my Bernie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Hush, with a carle crying, oh. Softly the echoes dying, oh. Even the birds and the beasties are sleeping, but my bonny bairn is weeping, weeping. Dreams to sell, fine dreams to sell. Angus is here with dreams to sell. Hush, my Bernie, and sleep without fear. Dream Angus has brought ye a dream, my dear. Dream, dream. Angus has brought ye a dream, Thank you.
Thank
It's been a lovely evening. Thank you, thank you. Next week we'll be doing love and the pain of love.